If you've ever wanted to mine Ethereum for ETH or start a Cardano stake pool, you should probably do a lot of research and talk to someone about it. In this video episode, I talked to MermADA from the Mermaid Metro's stake pool about her experience in mining Ethereum and also running a Cardano stake pool. Just that. Now, we go into a whole bunch of things, and she leaves her 3 top tips for both. So make sure you stay and listen all the way to the end. Now, if you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you'll hear more great content from us really soon. All right, let's get into this.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
Hi, MermADA. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Could you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how are you getting into crypto?
Okay, so we got back into crypto in like 2013, so it was quite a while ago. Back then we were mining with video cards, things like Coinye and Litecoin, Bitcoin. But I'd say February 2021, we looked into Cardano, and it was an opportunity for us to do more of our environmental work and give back to the groups that we were working with. And so that is how we kind of started diving into Cardano.
2013, that's quite a while back. That's well before I even started. Actually, I think I opened up my Coinbase account in 2013, but then did nothing with it.
Yeah. Yep. So I would say that was kind of where we were back in 2013. We did some trading, we did some mining, definitely just kind of figuring out the waters and the ropes, for a better, phrase. And, just kind of continued to slowly dabble in it, and not really, I would say end of 2020, early 21 was when we really started getting into cryptocurrency. Yeah.
I guess that's when the market started to pretty much pick right up, and everyone was really
I would say become more mainstream. I think prior to that, it was just kind of a game in some people's minds. It wasn't really something to look at. And within the 2020 kind of year, it seemed to become something that everyone kind of looked at as an investment option and something to actually take notice of.
Yeah, most definitely. So you came interested in Cardano in that January 2021. And you decide to open up a stake pool. Is that correct?
Yes. So the stake pool situation, we run a stake pool, Metro Mermaids, ticker tails, and we are a charity stake pool. We give back to 6 different organizations that help protect and restore our planet. And it was just a great opportunity to be part of a community that was very positive and very forward thinking, as well as giving back to those groups more.
Yeah, I love the eco charity side of things as well. A couple of other pools do that. And I did see a whole list of charities on your site when I was going through things. Now, when I was going through your site, I also noticed a little tool that was sitting at the top, mint a token.
So my husband is a bit of a ticker and likes to learn the new things. And when the NFTs first came out, he was helping a couple people kind of play with it on the side and figure it out. And I think probably after like our 10th person, we were like, okay, let's dig a little deeper and figure out how we can make this something that people can just kind of do on their own. That's kind of how it started and where it's continued to develop.
It's pretty cool. I actually use it to create my own Learn token. So it's
awesome. I'm glad to hear that it worked for you.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It came as a recommendation from someone else, Linda Rowland, who I think gave you a little shout out for it. I gave it a go. It was quick, easy to do, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone else.
Yeah, it's not for like someone who has no clue about coding. There is a little bit of ins and outs, and we are available for help if you guys have any questions or anyone has any questions. We're very hands-on and enjoy helping everyone. So if there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Are you going to do any improvements on the tool or anything? Have you got any plans?
I know that we have other things in the works, but at the moment, I'm not really at liberty to go into deep detail about those things.
Okay, all right. Stay tuned. Gotcha. Okay. So what's the general setup of your pool? Like how many relays have you got? Who's operating it? I'm guessing your partner's doing that, or is it yourself?
Yes. So my husband helps me run our relays and our main node, I think is how that's phrased. We have 5 different servers around the globe. We have one in Dusseldorf, Germany, Paris, France, St. Louis, Missouri, one right here in Detroit, Michigan, and then our main, I want to say it's our block producer. I'm not sure if that's the right phrasing, and I don't want to like quote it, but then we have another one that's pretty close to one of those relays. We basically have that many. That way, if there's an issue or we need to update something, there are other servers able to handle the load.
Gotcha. I was doing an interview with another stake pool operator, and they were saying you might not need that many, but it's good to have just in case.
Yeah. So my concern, my issue, it's always feasible for a server to have an update, have a situation where the computer just decides to restart. We've been in computers for a long time, and sometimes they're not reliable. So having a couple extra helps in that case that someone decides to be a little wonky today.
So what cloud infrastructure are you using? Do you know if you're using like AWS or DigitalOcean?
That would absolutely be his department. I know that we have some Linux-based stuff, but other than that, I could not delve into any of it because I'm not positive. He definitely is my server manager.
That's cool. So in regards to running the stake pool, how have you found it? Like, what are the pros and cons? Have you minted a block yet? Have you found it difficult in regards to like getting delegates or anything like that?
So we're growing. We are a very small pool by definition. We do not have a large pledge stake. Our pledge is about 10K right now, but we have about 100 grand in our pool from other stakers. The biggest pro that I would say so far is just the community. People are really gung-ho about what we're doing. They really love the NFT tool. So being in the community has been a great connection to other people and being able to take part in other charity situations. We really appreciate the opportunities that have been brought to us to help other communities and give back. So just the Cardano community and network has been the biggest pro. We have not minted a block yet. And that is something that I would lead into saying is a con. And I wouldn't say it's a con so much as something to be prepared for. If you're going to be doing a staking pool, realize that you need to have around 24,000 ADA in your pledge before you really get to that point where you have the ability to mint a block. So it's been something we had to mentally prepare ourselves that we were in this for the long haul. We weren't going to get there right away. And we also have to let our delegators know that constantly. We're not minting anything right now. We're still growing. So it's definitely been we're here for the community versus the profits.
Yep, most definitely. I totally agree with your numbers in regards to the pledge there. We boosted up our own pledge to 26,000. And I think about a month after that, we saw our first block. So it was only last 2 epochs ago that we minted it. So we're still growing as well. So we're feeling your pains. But I have to say, the community is actually a very good pro. And I saw a little artwork piece that was tweeted to you, an 8-bit version of you.
Yeah, that was kind of mind blowing. I'm a performing mermaid and have been for a number of years. I have a lot of fans, but that was a whole new level of, for lack of a better phrase, fandom. It was very cool to have this gifted to me and just see someone be like, I want to put time and effort into this art piece for you. It was a huge honor and I was very grateful. And it is one of those things, do good and put it out into the world and it comes back tenfold. So
yeah, that was very cool. Do you know if they're minting any more of those, or are they going to be on for sale or anything, or is it just a
We're
one-off?
talking about it, but we haven't made any decisions, so we'll see. Okay. Hopefully, maybe.
Cool. All right. I'll see if I can get my hands on one. Excellent. Just in that whole Mermaid thing, when I do interviews with people, I tend to do a little bit of research about them and try and find out a little bit more about their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I dived down a big whirlpool learning about mermaids and mermaid pods and all those aspects. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that and why you're into that and what you're trying to do with it?
Okay, so mermaiding was kind of a childhood thing for me. I grew up with a pool in my backyard and on the river in Michigan. So most of my childhood was spent swimming in the water and on swim team and that kind of thing. And then the wave of professional mermaids came out, I'd say 2016, 2017, and right around 2018, I opened my business. It was just an extension of my passions at that time, and then kind of turned into a full-blown business and side hobby. So now I run an entertainment company in which we go to birthday parties and festivals and corporate gigs. And then we also have our hobbyist group where I teach people how to become mermaids.
That's just a really cool and interesting side note. So I thought I'd just ask about that. Now, I also saw on your Twitter feed, you talking about mining and mining Ethereum, I believe you were mining. And
yes.
I found it quite interesting, some of the conversation that was coming out of that Twitter thread in regards to you guys being able to mint a block by yourselves and not with a mining pool, which is the way that most people do it on the Ethereum space. Mm-hmm. They join a pool, they combine their hash power together with a whole bunch of GPUs, graphical cards, to mint blocks, and then they share out the rewards accordingly. But you did it by yourself with your own mining rig. And what's the setup there? How are you doing this?
So we have a lot of video cards hooked up to old GPUs, working on, my understanding is, both group and solo mining. I can't really explain a whole lot about this because I'm not sure. I can't say either one has really been hugely profitable either. They're both kind of neck and neck, and there's a lot of maintenance to it. There's concerns over the heating of the cards. There's concerns over how long they're going to last. It's a lot of having to remotely monitor those systems and not being able to be as hands-on as we would like. So personally, I can't really answer a lot of questions about that, but I can say that they're both really difficult to do.
Okay. It's I'm just trying to get a picture in my mind. Like, have you got like a garage or room absolutely packed full of video cards or something?
So I wouldn't say they're packed. I would say it's just shelves. Think like big, tall metal shelving units. I think there's probably 3 or 4 shelves on it. And then cards hooked up to the GPU.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a serious operation. Like, just under my desk, I've got one really high performing card just whirring away. So it's, so my husband being the more tech savvy individual on this end, that is definitely more his department. But it's something that is not, it's not as cost effective as Cardano. We have to worry about electricity and the cost of it and heating and cooling. And so there's a lot of ins and outs that I think people immediately assume that it's the more profitable way, and it's not. It's just a matter of researching what you're getting into and what you want to do. Okay. So from your point of view, in seeing your husband working on both these aspects, and you're doing the marketing and front face for your stake pool, which one's better in your opinion?
Neither. I'm very much so. I'm very much so a spread your eggs amongst your baskets kind of person when it comes to our portfolio and marketing and investing. I like to have multiple options. I would love to see there be a better environmentally friendly option in terms of mining. It is what it is, though. It's so I make my peace with it, and it is what it is. I prefer the Cardano network because it is more environmentally friendly and sustainable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had and have all of these old computer parts. We've been in the computer industry for a long time. I would rather see them being put to use than just sitting in a storage box. So it just kind of makes sense to put that technology and equipment to work.
Yeah. I guess with the benefit with a Cardano stake pool, you can use very low power computers. So that environmental footprint, especially with the causes that you're trying to support, is very low. It's like this spotlight that's on me probably uses as much as... Same situation. All of it. So yeah, we really do try to find fantastic. Like the best way to stick with that mission driven, take care of the planet factor. Fantastic. So what are you guys going to do with all these video cards once Ethereum moves to proof of stake? This could be 3 years down the track, but so my understanding is there's a couple other currencies that he's looking at mining at that point. I am not positive which ones. To the same effect, as you mentioned, 3 years from now, hopefully that all equipment has not become, what's the word I'm at unvalid anymore, out of date. They make new stuff so fast that I hope that it's workable. I know recently we went from grabbing, I think it was like 4 gigabyte cards to 8 gigabyte because a couple of places had not been mining on the 4 gigabytes anymore. So it just kind of depends on how the technology advances and what other options are on the market at that time. Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens in once it yes, exactly. Out. Yeah. All right. So what would your top 3 tips be for running a stake pool then? For anyone that is coming into the industry at the moment, is thinking about starting a stake pool, what would your top 3 tips be? First would be research. Research, long and hard. As much as we finally made the leap in February, we had been looking back into this back in, I think, like November. I don't ever recommend jumping into something without doing a lot of research, and probably the point of too much research. Scare yourself away from doing it before you decide to jump into it. 2, be prepared for that long haul. Realize how much it takes to actually get to mint that first block. When we did make the leap in, we did not realize how much we needed to mint that first block. And so we had to play catch up, for lack of better phrasing, to get to that point, and still are. So be prepared for that long haul that you might not get there immediately. And my 3rd tip would be prepare for how you're going to market your pool. Let people know in the beginning that they're not going to necessarily mint a block right away and see rewards off the bat. Be prepared for if you were expecting to bring a profit home from that block, that you aren't. I've seen a couple people come on and be like, I'm leaving my day job. Don't leave your day job. So to that effect, that would be my 3 tips. Research, be prepared, prepare your marketing. Yeah. So with 5 relays, it must be costing quite a bit. I'm assuming this is all cloud-based providers and not actual computers in those locations, like physical located computers. So the cost of this really adds up, especially when you're not minting a block yet. So you're factoring that in and you're offsetting those costs with your other cryptocurrency projects. So I think that's why I mentioned make sure you have your day job, stick with it for a few, make sure you can support yourself while you're first getting this up and running. As I mentioned, I have 4 kids. We absolutely have to balance the budget and make sure that we are making ends meet before we do anything. So to know that we could handle the costs that were coming from the server was absolutely essential. Okay, great. Now, in terms of mining, I know you're not very hands-on on it, but what would your 3 tips be in regards to mining? Same situation. Research, big time. I think a lot of people think it's this quick get-rich scheme. They're going to jump in and suddenly be making thousands of dollars, and that's not how it's going to work with anything. You need to do your research and know what you're going into. Investment into your equipment.
knowing where those new markups are going to be and when different coins are going to cut out that type of mining and who you might have to go and work with next. Be prepared for that future so that you know when and how you're going to move your stuff around so that it continues to be profitable. Third, knowledge of how to run computers. I am not tech savvy. It is my husband's department. If it's not something that I'm going to be able to go into a store and have even a list and say, give me these things, and then come home and plug in together and have it up and running. So a knowledge of what you're getting into, you're going to need to know some Linux. You're going to need to know some command line coding. I'm not tech savvy, but I do a lot of the pre-NFT coding for him before he actually deals with the server. I don't know how to talk to the server. I can code all day. I can make your metadata for your NFTs. I can't talk to the server. I don't know how to do that. So you have to have a certain level of education on how you deal with those softwares.
Yeah, fair enough. That's very true. You do need that technical knowledge to be able to actually do all these aspects. Even with the stake pool side of things, you got to know how to set up the servers. So there is a deal of knowledge. I know there's a lot of video tutorials out there that can help people, but knowing and having a background and being good with computers really does help.
It does. To the same effect, as much as I'm a mermaid, we have been coding and developing and designing websites and programs for well over 2 decades. So it's something that when it came to computers, we're pretty comfortable with. And if you don't have that comfortable level, find a mentor, find someone in the industry who's already doing it, who's willing to help explain the ropes and give you a starting point. Because I mean, you're going to want to know that there's a difference between Java and JavaScript. Simple things like that get people confused when they're first starting out. So find a mentor, talk to them, ask a question. It's, worst case scenario, they're going to tell you is no, I don't have time.
Sounds like you might have some people knocking at your door. Asking for help.
Not gonna lie, we try to help everyone that we can.
Yep, that's great. Especially with the minting the NFT things, it's good contribution back to the community.
Yeah, we try to help and be hands-on and not leave them feeling lost. I want you to feel like when you are done dealing with us, you have a little bit of knowledge that you walked away with and a better understanding of what you've asked about.
Fantastic. Now, lastly, probably a little bit more of a personal question. Why are you guys all doing this? Like what's your motivation in regards to getting into cryptocurrencies, mining, and setting up a stake pool?
Buying a house.
Yep.
So I work as a pharmacy tech at my day job. I don't make over $15 an hour. I bust my rear end to make ends meet where we're at currently. Tough. Yep. Crypto has provided us the ability to build our savings to a point where home ownership is within the next year. Wow, and that was something that we really, having 4 kids, I need a place to provide for them and a home base. So that was something that became our focus and our forefront. And as cryptocurrency helped make that more possible and became more of an option, it's where we headed.
That's pretty good. That's an awesome story to hear that you're almost there. So just a little bit more, and as long as the markets don't crash.
We're fingers crossed. We're just kind of hoping everything holds out where it is, and we can end up, by the end of the year, moving into our own place. So that's our main goal behind all of it. Yeah. Being able to roll the charity factor into it as a mermaid was really exciting for me. But yeah, it was the ability to provide for our family a better life.
Financial freedom for everyone. That's
exactly.
Fantastic. I'll keep tabs on you, and I'm pretty sure community members will as well. But so if people want to contact you, how can they reach you?
So Twitter, Telegram, or my email off the website are the best way to get a hold of us. I am constantly checking Twitter. I am always on our Telegram group, and I check my email pretty frequently on the phone.
Fantastic. So what was the web address again?
Web address is metromermaids.com. Our Twitter handle is _MermADA. I'm not sure on our Telegram, but I'll put up a link today so that people can check it out. And my email is circthesiren@gmail.com.
Fantastic. I'll put those links all in the show notes as well, so people can check them out and get into contact with you.
Awesome.
Right, fantastic. So thank you so much, MermADA, for that interview, and I hope everyone has gotten something out of that and taken away some learnings. If you like this content, please make sure you give us that thumbs up, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell and work that YouTube algorithm for us. If you want to get in contact with MermADA, you can do so at metromermaids.com or on her Twitter handle. All the links are in the show notes down below. And until next time, everyone, catch you later.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research.